Our first little bit was time. We wanted to incorporate time as a theme, so we put the clock in there. It didn't really work out though. It kind of got repetitive, so we decided to cut it. But it is a good exposition shot. Then, I think the most prominent and defining feature of our project was the use of text messages. We originally used text messages as a way to connect it to the digital world because we wanted it to be about online spaces. And then it kind of turned to not only an easier way to give information to the audience by giving bits and pieces and not making it sound like too much of an exposition dump, but as a natural sort of conversation to incorporate in the story. Also, it was really convenient when we couldn't have actors at the same time that we needed. So it wasn't just a constant shot reverse shot of two people in a different room or a different time of day. We just thought it'd be way easier to just do text messages because you don't really need them in the same room at all. So with the story, we just had a lot of problems with it. We had an idea in the beginning, and in pre-production we had planned out an original 4 episodes, but it was much better on paper. We realized after that first episode we didn't like the trajectory of the story anymore. It wasn't making sense anymore to us, and we didn't think that we could make a compelling 4-episode piece on what we did. So we just began to change it around, and we mostly kept it consistent from there. We still added some things here and there or took out story elements that we didn't think were needed. But other than that, that was our biggest problem, and not having enough time sometimes to come up with a more cohesive script or to give our actors more to work with. It made it challenging, but it was nice that we're all friends, so it didn't hurt. And we ended up always coming up with something that we as the creators enjoyed in the end and that we were proud of making. So even though it was hard in the beginning, it kind of worked out towards the end and we liked it. The next thing we did was, after our first episode, we put more characters into the story because we thought it would work better with more people. I know that made it harder for us to get actors, but we just thought that more people would make not only more sense but also just more interesting. And as we worked throughout, we tried to give them relationships, connect them to each other, and reveal characteristics about them through conversations of them hanging out with each other. So we fixed that problem, which was a problem for episode 1. Another problem from episode 1 was our lighting. We had pretty bad lighting, and we didn't really like the setup, which is why we decided to change up the whole story a bit, but still keep it kind of the same. So we try to use more natural lighting, try to come up with better shot compositions. We were really concerned with framing and a good way to give information to the audience. And I think we really grew from the episodes from 1 to 4 in terms of our style. There's definitely a lot more going on, and we figured out ways to visually tell our story too without having to always verbally say what we're doing or have characters say what they're doing. We try to rather imply or just show the audience, show don't tell. And I think it worked really well to just combine those factors, and it improved what otherwise would be kind of something a little lackluster. Thanks. Hit that like button, subscribe.